Hey, it's me, TB, and today I'm bringing to you first half of 2022's book club selection for my book club, which is the Queer All Year Book Club. So I split this in half because, one, I don't have a lot of time to film at the moment, and two, it gives me content to upload in the future. So, I'm using my big brain for this. So to quickly summarize, basically this book club is a book where we read queer literature. It does not have to be by queer men, but with me here, it probably mostly will be. I just have a lot of books I want to get to, or I want to kind of promote. So for the foreseeable future, it probably will be mostly, if not all, queer men. So it doesn't have to be by a queer man, but usually it probably will be. And I will go ahead and say that, at least for the first half, there is more of a focus on new releases coming out. This just happened to be where it kind of played out. I was kind of making it as I was going through the GoodReads list that I have, 2022 releases featuring queer men. I always have that link down below in the description, as well as the 2021 variant. So there's that. It turns out that a lot of books I wanted to read came out in the earlier part of the year. So sorry for that. But I think that there should be only be two that release the month that we are reading them. So it shouldn't be a big thing. And then two are releasing, we're reading them the month after they release, approximately. And then the other two are books that are released in past years. So first and foremost, I should always say this too. I have not planned this out this far, but I've been thinking about maybe doing live shows, maybe. I have no idea when I would have time for this because my schedule for next year is basically just as crazy as it is this semester, but who knows? I need to talk to people about that. So maybe that'll be happening, who knows? So yeah, there's also a Twitter for the book club, link down below as well, so you can go follow us there. Anyway, in January, we are reading A Portrayal of Storms by Ben Alderson. I've read most of what Ben Alderson has put out. This is his new release coming out in January. So this book kind of deals with a war between humans and the Fae. So our main character, Robin Vale, is revealed to be the heir of the Winter Court's throne because it has been vacant for a long time. And he kind of uses power to help and protect humans, which of course becomes a problem for the Fae. So of course, the fairies want him dead. There's gonna be drama and shit probably. So it'll be a great time. For sure, I've never read a book by Ben Alderson that I haven't at least liked. I'm sure they've all been 4-star reads. So I'm going to go into expecting great things. And it says that he's thrust into a world of betrayal, murder, and lies. He must also survive long enough to have the choice, listen to fate and claim his family's power, or let it wreak havoc on a realm that turns its back on him for becoming who he was truly meant to be. So sounds great. I don't think he's ever written a Fae before. I'm sure this is his first Fae book, so it'd be great. And this is book one in a series. Spoiler alert, I think a lot of these are series, but they're all book one, so we should be all fine. And the little blurb thing says that it is perfect for fans of Akatar and From Blood and Ash, this new fantasy romance about a half-Fae boy and his personal guard preventing a war between the realms. So there you go. So next in February, we are reading Cameron Battle and the Hidden Kingdom by Jamarte Perry. This is a middle grade novel. Yes, we do cover middle grade YA and adult. So yay for us. So Cameron Battle, our main character, was raised hearing the stories about this kingdom that cut itself off from the rest of the world in order to protect the Igbo people. And this story is kind of the only connection he has to his family that vanished a few years ago. And since his parents have vanished, the book that has the story was kind of kept away from him by his grandmother, except one day he and his friends decide to open the book and they are transported to the realm that was locked away. But once they get there, they do not find a realm of beauty and peace, but instead it's kind of war torn, with the queen's sister trying to destroy the barrier between the worlds. So it sounds like a great time. It says it's perfect for fans of Aru Shah and Tristan Strong, and celebrates the triumphs and challenges of a boy finding his truth path to greatness. I'm sure this would say true path to greatness, but I did totally copy and paste this from GoodReads, so who knows. So yeah, that is the book for February. That is a middle grade fantasy. So great. So next is March, and this does come out. Oh, I forgot to say this. Cameron Battle comes out, I think, February 8th, if I remember right. No, it comes out February 1st, I think. So that is another new release. And next in March is another new release also coming out on the first of the month, or around the early first week. I'm pretty sure one of these does come out the 8th. I have no idea why I don't have it written down, but they both come out really early on in the month, so we should be fine. So next is a book that has been released outside of the US, but it's releasing here for the first time, I guess. I have already read it because I bought a copy from Book Depository, I think. That is The Boy from Mish by Carrie Linsborough, except in the US it's going by Ready When You Are. Personally, I prefer this cover And yes, this is signed by the author because I had to buy it from a special store online. So, but yes, so I have this copy, and I'll probably buy the US edition anyway for, just collection's sake. So this book, we are following Jackson, who is our main character. This is a YA contemporary, I'd say. So he's 17 and he's chilling on his mish, and it's almost Christmas time. And as usual, his auntie and his cousins come down to her visit. And with them, they bring like a new boy that his auntie is taking care of. And of course, feelings ensue, and it's really cute, and I liked it. This does kind of deal with our main characters kind of like doing his own like internalized homophobia. And there's like a few like homophobic scenes that kind of go on, but most of that is like confined to the first like third or so of the book, and it's get like addressed and called out as wrong. And he does kind of come into a very supportive community, so it doesn't get to like very dark and depressing. There is that internalized homophobia early on, but like it is overall a very happy ending. So yeah, don't worry about that. So yeah, this is the book pick for March. It's coming out early on in the month. Or I guess you could just buy a copy now if you wanted to, whatever. Personally, I would say wait until the US edition comes out just to like support the author, because the author is an Aboriginal Australian, and I'm pretty sure he is UN. Yeah, he is a UN man. So you are supporting an Indigenous author, and you're supporting a queer man. So, it is a win-win for everyone. So next in April is the Circus Infinite by Wong, and this comes out in March as well, but we are reading it in April, so it should be out by then. So our main character Jess has these gravity powers that people want, so he kind of flees to this planet or this moon known for like pleasure and partying. Eventually he gets the attention of a crime boss, and this crime boss knows that Jess is wanted, for his powers, so he tells him that, do what I tell you, or I could just kill you and turn you in, basically. And eventually the boss kind of like throws Jess and his friend under the bus, and they decided to kind of get revenge and deal with the crime boss once and for all. So yeah, I think this is like sci-fi-ish or like fantasy, maybe both, who knows. Again, I have not read it beyond this like little like blurb thingy, so it could go either way. And that is the pick for April. So next in May is The Prophets by Robert Jones Jr. And this came out, I think, in January of 2021. I'm sure it came out early on in the year. And this is a multi-POV story. At least the blurb makes it sound like that. Basically, we're following how these two, men that are enslaved kind of fall in love, and everyone's reactions to when that happens, as well as like what happens to them when this kind of happens. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be like a very like heavy story. So probably keep that in mind when reading it. I mean, who knows? Maybe they will have a happy ending, but given the situation, pretty sure this takes place in like the 1830s. It's probably not going to be like a very happy ending. I've had to guess, but still, who knows? Could go very happy. No idea. So basically, there are these two men, Isaiah and Samuel, and usually people didn't care about it, but then when someone starts like preaching the gospel, eventually people start to like turn on each other, and eventually their love becomes like this really big deal that can't really be seen or talked about. So yeah, that is the book pick for May. And the author has said that there are a few scenes of rape and sexual assault of varying levels of detail, so keep that in mind as well. The final book for the first half of the year is Dancer from the Dance by Andrew Holleran. I read this a few years ago and I loved it. I read it before I did BookTube, so I don't have like a review for it on GoodReads or anything, but I did read this and I'm pretty sure I would have given it like 5 stars when I read it. This is about our main character, Malone, who is not like our narrator, but he kind of gets described by people around him, which is how the story kind of like forms. So basically, he kind of moves to New York to kind of like find love, and he ends up realizing that he is gay, gets wrapped into the gay scene of 1970s New York, and there he finds Sutherland, who is a campy quintessential queen. So yeah, there's not a romance between them. I'm pretty sure Malone ends up becoming a sex worker. And I'll say that this book is, I wouldn't say dark per se, but it is like, again, heavy. So yeah, even though this does take place in the 1970s, it does get like really like realistic and kind of like, I guess, depressing about what it would have been like to be queer at that time period. They aren't like, they do have fun, but it isn't like overly optimistic about what can happen for them, because I kind of know like how society is going to treat them and look at them anyway. So yeah, I'll also preface this by saying that at first, this is kind of told in varying letters back and forth between two characters that we don't know the name of, because they use like, I guess, like literary characters as their own names. So it will be very confusing at first, but just know that there are two people writing back and forth, and like the novel itself is kind of like a manuscript one of them has sent for the other to read. that probably sounds a lot more confusing than it actually is, but trust me on this, I just want to warn you ahead of time so you kind of know that going into it. Most of this is like the novel itself, but I think there is like going to be a break in between where they send like a few letters more back and forth, but overall it is like mostly the novel. So yeah, just a little like fair warning, do get a look into the gay scene in New York in the 1970s and the author himself. This is published in the 1970s as well, so the author was like there and kind of like, it's probably one of the better depictions of what it would have really been like at the time period. So it would be a great learning experience for everyone. This is the book pick for June. This was first published again in like the 1970s, I think. First published in 1978. So yeah, this did get a reprint in 2019, I think. So it should be easily accessible. And I think there is also an ebook available. So there you go. So these are the first 6 books for the book club in 2022. Again, down below will be a link to both the 2022 list of books featuring queer men on GoodReads, as well as the Twitter down below. I also kind of did this for most of the books I read this year, 2021, but also probably doing like review videos for all of these. So if you feel like you miss the book discussion or whatever, or like you miss reading the book with us, there will be like a review video going out that is spoiler free, so you can look forward to that. So thank you for watching. If you like this video, subscribe, like, share, all of that. Hopefully I will see you next week.